Man, it's heavy.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K, brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today for free by downloading that Circle K app. I'm going to be frank with y'all. I'm freaking exhausted. This has been one hell of a long week. Half our staff's at the Super Bowl. I had a 9 p.m. Suns game, an 8 p.m. Suns game. Didn't get home till 2 a.m. in both cases for post games. And I'm right back in here every morning at 11 a.m. to do this thing we call Southwest Bias. So I'm tired and I'm a little bit cranky because when I don't sleep, I kind of turn into that. And I kind of have some negative thought patterns. So I respect where Phoenix Suns fans kind of find themselves right now. It seems like it's kind of a dark place. And there was a comment in last night's broadcast for Prime. It was Brent Barry, former Suns assistant coach, who said this during the broadcast.
I know at some point the end is going to come. There are many things in life that aren't unpleasant. We actually die. So
Yeah, I don't know why he said it. And quite frankly, it kind of seemed to sum up yesterday with the Suns fans. There was a lot of, just cloud over everybody's head for some reason. It started with a lot of people getting upset with what they did at the deadline or lack thereof and freaking out. Why did they not get X, Y, and Z? Because it was never in the cards. We told you on the program it was never in the cards. They weren't going to make a big deal because there wasn't a big deal to be had with the assets that they had available. There was not some magical power forward that was going to make them NBA contenders that was just going to fall in their lap for a bunch of magic beans in Grayson Allen's contract. It was never going to happen, yet there were some fans that sat there and were extremely upset by it. Extremely upset. We did like 4 Sun shows yesterday, and every time there were a significant amount of people that were upset in the chat. Then we get to the game, and we find out, a handful of hours before, Jalen Green's not going to play. Hip's still not healthy enough, and there was a problem with it, so he didn't play. People freaked out again. I had people, oh my God, his hip's broken. We got to have surgery. Oh, he's never going to play. He's Bradley Beal. Just complete and utter panic. Then no new news on Devin Booker. All we heard was he's a magical healer, but he's probably ahead of schedule, but no timetable. And people went, oh my God. Now Devin Booker is going to be out the rest of the season. No, write it all off. It's over. And you kind of shrug it off and you go, okay, people are having a moment. And then the game happened. You're playing against a bunch of Golden State Warriors who are creative players. You got a guy that looks like Connor, our sales guy out there with a mustache and kind of a 5 o'clock shadow beard, hitting threes like he never has in his life. And the first half, people are freaking out online. Okay. Suns come back and they take a 14-point lead. And you go, all is right with the world. We're all right again. And instead, they then proceed to give up a 22-5 run to the Warriors to lose by 4 points. And everybody loses their mind again. It's over. Everything's done. I don't know what's in the water right now. But between fans and Brent Barry going all hypothetical and philosophical about how we all die, yesterday was one of the weirder days in the Suns world. And I think that there is this heaviness, this darkness, despite the fact that they're 10 games over 500. They're a game back of the 4 seed in the West. They have already surpassed their their over-under win total that the prognosticators set out there. They're still one of the better defenses, and they still have not seen everybody at full strength. And by the way, the Grayson Allen knee injury, that was another thing that set us all off. People assuming already that he had a torn ACL. I understand panic. And I understand part of this is the weight of expectations coming into play here. That fans have gotten past this is a fun, magical run story and have gone straight to, well, they're not a championship contender, because this is the way we're wired in Phoenix with this team. After years and years of disappointment, after years and years of things that haven't gone our way, we just automatically go to, well, if they don't win a title, it's a failure. And I understand that's the zero-sum game of sports, but guess what? 29 other cities in the NBA ain't going to win a championship this year. That's the way it is. Likely, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to wind up back-to-back champions, or the Denver Nuggets will win their second championship. Like, these are the things that will likely happen. So we turn it into a zero-sum game for this Suns team when I'm still sitting in the position going, well, this is all found money. This is a hell of a lot of fun. They made the smart business decision at the deadline. Holy crap, there's growth here. You want to worry about roster changes? Do it in the offseason. This team is still right in the playoff hunt, with a chance to have a home court advantage in the first round. And now they're paying the price of the past in a lot of ways with some of the fan base. Pump the brakes. It's all right. We'll find out what's going on with Grayson Allen, but guess what? The trade that they made gave you some fail-safe options. Cole Anthony's not perfect, but now you've got a safety net even further in your backcourt. Amir Coffey, is a guy that shot 40% in multiple seasons from deep in his career. He's 6'7", 210. He's a guy that could fill in that Isaiah Livers minutes if that shoulder. There's another thing that happened. The shoulder injury that Livers suffered is something that keeps him out. There's still a silver lining here. Call me Pollyannic, call me head in the cloud, call me somebody that is being stupid or a shill. I don't care. You can call me any of those things. But the fact is, I tend to lean into that negative, especially when I'm this tired, like I said in the open. And even I'm not willing to lean into that. I was pissed off at the loss yesterday. It's one loss. It was not a great way to go. And in totality, this is all not exactly ideal. But guess what? None of the season's been ideal for the Suns. Jalen Green's played 5 games. Devin Booker's had injuries. We've seen Grayson Allen miss significant time already. And yet, they continue to win. They continue to grit and grind. Yeah, sorry, Memphis. You don't get a hold on to that. They've continued to play well. They continue to fight through it every single game. And last night, they fought back, and then they didn't show what they usually show. All right, learning lesson. I refuse to believe that there's something horribly wrong going on here in a season where everything is essentially a bonus. This team was not supposed to be good. This team was supposed to be dead last in the Western Conference with no pick that they controlled. Well, guess what? Now they're right in the thick of the playoff hunt. They won't miss the play-in because go look at the back half of the West and what that all did yesterday, blowing everything up. So they're definitely a play-in team. I don't think they, knock on wood, touch metal, whatever your thing is. I don't think they fall lower than 8th, even if they go on a massive losing streak. So they're in the play-in, likely in the playoff. And this is things that nobody expected. If I had told you that in August, you would have told me to go screw myself. And in less polite terminology. Actually, a lot of people on the internet did when I said they'd win 38. So take a step back, accept the reality that they made the smart business decisions. There's still a buyout market out there that they can try to find additional people. And look at the fact that we could be a surprise that the Suns could do something in the playoffs that nobody sees coming, just like they have in the regular season. We're tired. We're cranky. We all would love the All-Star break to come so people can heal and we can get a little step back from everything. Because right now, we're all far too serious about a season that's actually going a hell of a lot better than any of us imagined. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the dog behind the desk. Roo, roo. Damon Dog. Damon Farrell. Damon, how are you, my friend?
Doing all right, Espo. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Like
wow.
I said, I'm tired. Oh, great. Now we've got an eclipse, too. The sun isn't even working on a Friday. Look at that. Now, there we go. Look at. See, I told you, the sun will come out today.
That was scary for a second.
I was. I mean, we're talking about how things are dark and negative, and then the sun doesn't come up.
Yeah, the sun's always supposed to rise in the morning, Espo, but it didn't in that circumstance.
Usually
so
rises in the east, sets in the west, and we were looking at a setting right there. God, an eclipse. An eclipse on the day that we're talking about how dark things feel.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. And all of a sudden, the vibes have significantly taken a turn for the worse.
Damon, what do you make of what's going on with the Suns and what was essentially just a very weird day in Phoenix basketball?
I think that, what you're trying to say is that, we need to have some perspective as a community, as a city, as a state here when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, considering what the expectations were when you came into the season. Now you have a coach who's up there, if not the favorite for coach of the year at the helm in a situation when you've had 4 coaches in 4 seasons, correct?
Correct.
And so, you finally feel like you have that guy at the helm. You have like kind of a ragtag group of players. The expectation was never that this team was going to be just, unscathed, going to just handle business every step along the way. I feel like there were going to be some ebbs and flows, some bumps along the road. And really this, you couldn't really expect anything more than what you've gotten out of the 2025-26 Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we've got Alejandro in the chat, one of the bias, saying, we are so ahead of schedule, never expected this success. Mm-hmm. I agree. And Laura says, let's just enjoy the ride because they are fun to watch again after some facepalm years. Even when they lose, I don't feel like I need to wear a bag over my head in the stands. Amen to that. Like, Damon, there were years that it was just completely embarrassing. Right now, I'm having fun, even in a game that was as weird as last night's game, as Gil, the smooth-voiced one, McGregor on PHNX Sunset. It felt like a preseason game, and it did. And even then, I'm still feeling all right.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't necessarily like, I just don't feel there's never going to be a loss this season, Espo, where I'm looking at the Suns and going, man, what a disappointment. You know what I mean? And unless, barring really unforeseen circumstances of like 5 straight losses to non-playoff teams in a row, I just think that you don't really have the talent to necessarily just go in, night out, beat every single team. These are still NBA teams that you're playing against, and the goal should be progress, and it is progress as of right now.
Alejandro's right. He said, by the way, it's so annoying to lose to that version of the Warriors.
Fair.
I give that 100%. You want to be upset about last night's game? I totally get that. I blew a gasket at 11:30 last night on the Suns post-game show because that was not Suns basketball that we saw last night. You want to have critiques on one game? Sure. Just don't paint with the wide brush and make that the whole season. Like that's the bigger problem is looking at it and starting to write things off. And I know it's not sexy to go, hey, look, we got under the tax line. Nobody wants to hear, hey, we saved money. Like that is the least sexy thing in sports and the toughest thing to say to a fan base, because especially one that dealt with an owner that used to squeak when he walked, the last guy, right? Because he was so damn cheap. But this was a good thing for the Suns to be able to maneuver in the offseason, and they still got assets for 2 guys that did not play, any role other than, clapping real loud on the bench. So I know, not sexy, not an easy sell, but at least it did something for the future. I want to talk about one other thing, and Dame Dog, you're welcome to jump in on this as well. But Larry Fitzgerald, going into the Hall of Fame, wound up getting elected into the Hall of Fame last night, first ballot candidate. And look, I am a staunch believer in Larry Fitzgerald. In fact, I've said it on this show before. I've said it and pounded the table. Larry Fitzgerald is the best wide receiver in NFL history. And he's going in first ballot for a damn good reason, because he's the best. I'm sorry to Jerry Rice, and you all can love Jerry Rice, but Jerry Rice is not the best receiver because he caught passes from some really, really great quarterbacks throughout his career. Even in the down years in San Francisco and his time in Seattle and his time in Vegas, in Oakland, he was catching balls from guys that were top-tier quarterbacks. Let me read you the 22 quarterbacks that Larry Fitzgerald caught passes from and played with. Josh McCown, Sean King, John Navarre, Kurt Warner, Tim Rattay, Matt Leinart, Brian St. Pierre, Derek Anderson, Kevin Cobb, Max Hall, John Skelton, Rich Bartle, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Lindley, Carson Palmer, Drew Stanton, Blaine Gabbert, Josh Rosen, Sam Bradford, Brett Hundley, Mike Glennon, Kyler Murray, and Michael Scott. Did you realize I included a character from The Office in there? Probably not, because you don't know who we caught passes from, because so many of them were UFL type quarterbacks. And he caught passes from them, set records, and is the second best in terms of some statistical categories as a wide receiver. But as a wide receiver as a whole, he is the best of all time based on the poo-poo platter of quarterbacks not named Carson Palmer and Kurt Warner that he caught passes from. If you can read that list and you can tell me that he's not the greatest of all time, that's a you problem, not a me problem. So congratulations to Larry Fitzgerald on getting the honor that he so well deserves. Enjoy your gold jacket, enjoy your retirement, and know that you are the greatest of all time at catching passes in the NFL. On the other side of halftime, we reach deep into that voicemail bag and pull out something special. Mountain America Credit Union. Yeah, I love them, and you should love them too, because the My Style checking account, gotta tell you about it. If you are looking to carry your favorite team in your wallet, you can with Mountain America's Suns debit card, ASU debit card. You got a freaking Mercury debit card or credit card. Why would you not want to take part in that? And with the My Style checking account, you're going to be able to get mobile phone protection, telehealth access, deals on loan rates, deals on meals and events. It's everything that you want. And when I say My Style, I don't mean you have to wear a quarter zip and a retro hat. I mean, it's the style that you want to live by with this checking account. So sign up today. It's super easy. Just visit macu.com/mystyle. Insured by NCUA, membership required. Based on eligibility, some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. And Gila River Resorts and Casinos. We all love Vegas. I mean, at least the thought of it. But then you realize, we got to travel. It's either drive of 5 hours. I got to get on a plane. No, forget all that. You can do it right here in the Valley with our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at all 4 of their Valley locations. They're bringing Vegas to you with the energy and excitement of everything that is in Vegas. With the Vegas residency, they're bringing the energy, the attitude, and the excitement of Las Vegas straight to you. Enjoy exclusive concerts, extended DJ sets, showgirls, chef-driven dining, pop-up bars, and surprise cameos. Who would it be? I don't know, because it's a surprise. But you can find out who's performing. And they have the fabulous Corvette giveaway. You want to drive home in a Corvette? They're giving away 4 of them between now and April. So why not sign up? Plus, they got great perks for loyalty members. So you bring you, they bring Vegas. Only at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for a full calendar of events. Wow, 90s legend Lisa Loeb playing halftime. Gotta love it. Not usually the hype-up music that you get at a halftime show, but great nonetheless. Excited. I think Josh Stone might stop by on Monday, too. Who knows? Halftime's always great here on the program. Glad you stuck around with us. Like I mentioned, we're going to reach deep into the voicemail bag. I asked you for your questions, your comments, and more at the voicemail bag. You can always reach us, call or text to leave a voicemail. 1-480-535-0425. That's 1-480-535-0425. 425. You can leave a text or a voicemail. We're going to hop into our voicemails first. We've got Matthew as our first voicemail. Let's hear what he has to say, and I'll answer it.
Hey, y'all. This is Matthew. I'm one of the diehard guys in PHNX as far as the fans concerned. Just wanted to see what y'all thought as far as the Mike before hire. And who do y'all think QB1's going to be if we're going with a bridge quarterback and drafting somebody this year, or if we're just going to rock with bridge quarterback for this year and then draft a QB next year? I just wanted to hear what you guys thought about that, and go Cardinals. Catch y'all later. Bye.
Matthew, thanks so much for the voicemail. And I got to say, when I look at this, we've talked about it on the program, I think Mike LaFleur was a fantastic hire, especially when you consider how ass backwards a lot of the search was to try to find this head coach. You wind up landing where I think you needed to, an offensive-minded coach that can unlock the best out of Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson. I think he brings in Breece Hall, a running back that he had experience with on the Jets, a guy that has a lot of talent and ability who can help solidify that run game. But you were right. The big question is who the hell will be behind center or in shotgun this year for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sorry to ruin everybody's K1 dreams of some kind of magical return to feeling like he has promised to be the best quarterback on the roster. But Kyler Murray won't be here. Diana Rossini on the PHNX Cardinals show yesterday even suggested that there is a trade market for him, so the idea of having to cut him likely won't come to fruition. Who do I think it will be? I don't know. Jacoby Brissett might be that bridge quarterback, but there's rumors that the Jets might want to trade for him. So if you can get anything for Jacoby Brissett, I think you take the assets and you run. Malik Willis could be a guy that comes in. He has experience with Matt LaFleur, so obviously Mike's going to have some insight in him. He's going to be a free agent. You're going to have the ability to sign him. There's talk about Kirk Cousins. The one guy that it cannot be, and Hackett is now the offensive coordinator, it cannot be Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals next year, guess who won't be talking about the Arizona Cardinals next year? This guy. Because I will not be able to stand an entire season of Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go on a silent retreat where I'm in the dark for 5 months so I don't have to deal with the idea of that if they sign him. Ayahuasca for everybody. If you see Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback of this team, as a bridge quarterback, a quarterback of the present, I don't care. Now, what I think is they probably will kick the tires on a few of the guys in this draft, but pass on it for this year and look at the following year's quarterbacks in the draft. They will kind of double down on the lines on both fronts, defense and offensive line, and try to get better there and make this year a learning experience. I think you're 1 year too early on Mike LaFleur, so you're going to have to let him learn along the way. I think the offense will look better. It'll be more creative. I think the defense will wind up being solid, and you're probably a marginal team at best. But 2027, that's when things get real interesting. Matthew, thank you for your question. I believe we got a gentleman named Eric as our next up in the voicemail bag.
Hey, Espo. Eric Ruby here. First time, long time. Love what you've been doing with the program and over at PHNX. Big fan of all of you guys. Here's my hot take for you since you so desperately asked for it. The 2021 Phoenix Suns will beat any other Suns team ever in a 7-game series. I'm talking the Barkley team. I'm talking the first finals team. Any iteration of the Suns, that 2021 team wins in 7 games. I'm even talking 7 seconds or less. They're just a complete, deep team. What do you think? Let me know. Once again, first time, long time. Love you. Bye.
I got to deal with this guy on my other show, and he's infiltrating this program as well. I know this show's called Southwest Bias, but you know what that voicemail was? Recency bias. Sure, the 2021 team could beat any other Suns team right now because most of those teams are in their 50s and 60s and 70s. So yeah, that group would win right now. But if we're talking about taking that DeLorean hitting 88 and going back in time with that group to take on other Suns teams, 7 seconds or less kicks their ass. The 93 team kicks their ass because it was a more physical, better team. 76 team, I'm not going to say that would happen. That was a fun team. I don't think that they would beat the 2021 Suns. But let's be realistic. That was a good team. It was a solid team. It was a fun team. It was not a team that would beat the two teams that were significantly better when it came to Suns history. That 93 team, that 92-93 team, was one of the best teams in the NBA. And if they had not run into a man that was the god of hoops at that time, Michael Jordan, they would have a Larry O'Brien trophy. They may have had their own three-peat, because if they had won in 92 and the path wound up without Jordan in 93 and 94 and that run, they may have been a dynasty. Instead, Michael Jordan cut him off at the knees. It ruined the next few years, and it was a mess. But I'm sorry, the 2021 team is not winning in that case. I love that Suns team. I love the Valley Boys and that group that surprised everybody. They were not a better team than other teams in Suns history. I'm sorry, Eric. I appreciate you taking the time to leave your hot take. But it is not a correct one. Next, we're going to go into Discord, where we had some of our fans leave questions here in the mailbag. We're going to go with Brian first here. He said, what are your feelings on the directions of the Cardinals? 94 years of failure is our history. Brighter days ahead? Oh, sweet, sweet Brian. I would love to tell you that brighter days are ahead. I love to continue to try to make myself think this on a constant basis when it comes to the Cardinals. But history has taught me that I'm not willing to tell you that for sure, because me lying to you will make you feel better for the next, 6 months, maybe a year. And then you're going to realize that if it's not the truth, you're just in a deeper, darker hole than you were before. So I'm not going to tell you it's going to be better, but I sure as hell hope so, because you got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And that's words to live by, not just when it comes to sports. Let's go to Sean in the Discord. Says, what are your thoughts on Carlos Santana's signing? I can see him getting more reps than Pavin once the Ginger Avenger runs out of the magic he has during his random Linsanity stretches. Carlos Santana is a year and a half younger than me. He is 40. I am 42. I do not bet on any 40-year-old to have immense success when it comes to sports, because yes, he's in better shape than me. Yes, he is a better physical specimen. He's still 40. When you wake up at 40, everything hurts. Like, this guy had a rough season last year. I think he'll be a great platoon player with Pavin Smith. I think he's a defensive upgrade, but he's not the savior at first base. They obviously value defense at the corners. Arenado and Santana at first and third. They're guys that will play solid defense. You're not going to have errors and mistakes made at the corners when they play, but I'm not going to expect some massive offensive renaissance when it comes to a man that I could have been in high school with at the same school. I'm sorry. I don't expect that from anybody in my same age bracket. It's just not what I'm going to expect. And we're going to turn to Twitter for our last one. David, friend of the program, said, you got this right. It was in reply to a tweet where I predicted exactly what the Suns were going to do at the trade deadline. But he says, do you think that we are going to waive Cole Anthony and or Coffee, Booyah standard contract, Liver standard contract, any buyout acquisitions? All right. Potential that Cole Anthony gets waived. I think that might be predicated on how bad is Grayson Allen's knee, and how soon do you think Devin Booker and Jalen Green are going to come back? You need break glass in case of emergency guys there. Amir Coffey is not going to get cut. He's a guy that I think could get some rotational minutes, maybe surprise a little bit and return to form that we saw with the Clippers. He's a guy that can hit from deep when you're getting the kind of quality looks that they generate in this offense. I think he could be like a 10th guy in a rotation. Probably not going to make any huge impact if they make, or when they make the play-in or playoffs, but I think that he could wind up playing minutes this year. I think Bouyer's the guy that gets a standard contract. They love him. They love that he's young. He's tenacious. He fits their mindset. He's going to get a standard contract. I think Livers will not, especially after the shoulder injury. And I have talked with the Suns. They are interested in exploring the buyout market, but aren't going to do anything unless it jumps out to him. I heard Matisse Thybulle might be bought out. That's somebody I would consider if Portland does buy him out. We know Chris Boucher got bought out by the Utah Jazz. You look at that and you wonder, okay, could he be a guy that helps you with your depth at the big man position? We will see. He is a bit of a stretch five. Not the greatest. I don't know that he would crack the rotation, but you might need a break glass in case of emergency guy at center that isn't named Kaman Malawach as well. So that is another Southwest bias in the books. Thank you to the bias in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out. Even the guy that says you suck, Suns fans, that's fine. And no one cares, bro. You care enough to be here in the stream, and your view counts just as much as anybody else's. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, he's a lawyer and a Clippers fan. A Clippers fan saying the Suns are an embarrassment. Go look at what your team just did. And you know what? I hope that you can actually help them with their little aspiration issue legally that they're having, because they might need a good lawyer.
They could use some lawyers right now.
Yeah. Actually, they should call the husband and wife law team, because they've caused serious injury to their fan base over the 4 decades, even going back to Buffalo and San Diego, that franchise has been a ridiculous mistake of an NBA organization. That is another Southwest bias in the books. A big thank you to the dog behind the desk, Damon. You can follow him at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, get some sleep this weekend, because we got another long one coming up. Ahoy, hoy!
We all silly like the mayor.